Alright, cosecant. So cosecant is similar to sine. So my period is 2 pi over b. But we're going to lightly graph sine to do this without any vertical shifts, because for our reciprocal functions and for tangent, we want to think PAV. We do phase shifts first, then asymptotes, then vertical shift. So what we're going to graph on this is we're going to graph y equals 2 sine x plus pi over 2 without that vertical shift. We're just going to graph without, because vertical shift happens last for cosecant and for secant and for cotangent and for tangent. So as I go through, my amplitude is 2. My period is 2 pi over b, so my period is 2 pi. My vertical shift, it's going down 1. And my phase shift, I don't have to factor out b, because b is 1. So it's pi over 2 to the left. All right, so again, we are going to graph this to figure out how to do this. So up to 2, down to negative 2. My period's 2 pi. So remember, we have to graph first without the phase shift. So without the phase shift, it's not reflected. My sine starts at 0, goes to the max, back to 0, to the min, back to 0. So this is without my phase shift. But now we have to phase shift it pi over 2 to the left. So each of these points is moving pi over 2 to the left. My tick marks are pi over 2, so that's perfect. So this point moves here, this point moves here, this point moves here, and this point moves here. So we are like this. And again, if you need to keep going, but hopefully you kind of see that after this, I would go back up to the max here. All right, so now the reason I did this is because this tells me where my asymptotes are. So my asymptotes happen everywhere it crosses 0. So my asymptotes are here and here. And then, so I did my phase shift. I graphed sine, did my phase shift first. So I've already done phase shift. Now I just drew my asymptotes in. So now vertical shift. So I'm going down 1. So normally I would start on this dot right here at the max or the min, and I would draw my curve. But this has to move down 1. So it's going to go down 1 to here, and then I'm going to draw it. Same thing with this. Instead of being, that looks bad. It's supposed to be at this point. Should be at negative 2. We're going to relabel my graph so it looks like negative 2. So it's going to have to move down 1 to negative 3. So this one will be down here. And then this point here will have to go down 1 and go like that. So again, without that vertical shift, they would have been right on the dots, moving like that. So phase shift, asymptotes, vertical shift for cosecant. Oh, and my domain and range. So my domain, if I have asymptotes, my domain is always x cannot be, pick an asymptote. So I'm going to pick pi over 2, plus or minus k. So unlike tangent and cotangent, it's not times the period. This is half the period. And you can tell that by looking at where your asymptotes are, right? My asymptote, the distance between 3 pi over 2 and pi over 2 is pi. My period's 2 pi. So it's half my period. It's not my whole period for cosecant and secant. And then my range, I'm starting at negative infinity. I'm stopping at this dot. This dot is at negative 3. And I'm starting in at this dot, which is 1, and going to infinity. So that is graphing cosecant.